Jamaica Labour Party leader Dr. Andrew Holness at a mass rally in St. James on Sunday.
Over time, we will reduce the base rate of personal income tax from 25% to 15% on a phased basis and shift gradually from direct to indirect taxation, which will allow hard-working Jamaicans to keep more of their paycheck.
While that was happening over in Manchester at their own mass rally, this was People's National Party President Mark Golding.
Under the PNP government that is to come, we will be increasing the tax threshold so that persons who currently pay tax at 25%, if they're earning up to $3.5 million a year, they will be paying tax at 0%.
Currently, a personal income tax rate of 25% is applied to the salaries of persons earning over $1.7 million annually, 30% for income exceeding $6 million. Notably, of the roughly 1.4 million employed people in Jamaica, about 700,000 are subjected to pay taxes, and of that group, just 30% earn above the income tax threshold. Economist Keenan Faulkner is questioning the fiscal sustainability of the JLP and PNP's proposals. He maintains it's highly unlikely for either proposals to be implemented in the next 2 years.
We are projected to run a fiscal deficit of around $33 to $35 billion, or around 1% of GDP in the next 2 fiscal years. So the phased implementation of either of them, I think, will have to start at least from fiscal year 2027, 2028, and possibly be concluded by the end of the next parliamentary term or early into the following term after that. So it is likely to be of the magnitude of billions, tens of billions of dollars, at least $20 billion on each side.
But who will foot that bill?
If the parties do not want to impose taxes, and I'm sure members of the electorate don't really want to hear that in order to fund this, then what other potential areas will get cut? Or are you willing now as a government to run a larger fiscal deficit than you had initially programmed?
He says, however, there may be room for flexibility given recent reports which suggest that Jamaica is making significant progress in reducing its debt to GDP ratio.
That potentially possibly opens up some amount of fiscal space in order to accommodate this additional absorption of revenue. But we are not quite sure what that might look like. 5% anticipated when the debt to GDP ratio declined from 63% to 62%, can afford potentially an additional $200 billion, depending on the priorities and the needs of expenditure for the government. So it is all now to see how that can be recalibrated over the next couple of years to see if we can sustainably afford this in the medium term.
Amoy Harriet, CVM News.
The Jamaica Labour Party has released its much-anticipated manifesto just weeks before Jamaicans head to the polls. The party says the document contains solutions for every sector and every citizen. Our reporter Akeem Aret tells us more.
We're not launching one document, We're not launching 2 documents, We're launching 3 documents today.
The wait is over. Jamaicans now have in hand the Jamaica Labour Party's 2025 manifesto. Chairperson of the Manifesto and Achievement Committee, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says it's a document built with the people in mind.
The Jamaica Labour Party is a party that believes that everyone is important and everyone deserves to see and know what they are voting for. So in our manifesto, we have plans for everyone. We have something for the farmer. We have something for the tourism worker. We have something for the entrepreneur. We have something for public and private sector workers. We have something for our women, our men, our children, our young people, our environmentalists, our entertainers, our athletes, our vulnerable groups.
But the party didn't stop there. Along with the main manifesto, the JLP launched a companion plan exclusively for the education sector, described as one of the most important commitments.
So I'm proud to also launch this education manifesto has so many sector-focused policies, priorities that will transform Jamaica and build on the positive results we're already seeing.
Senator Johnson Smith is encouraging Jamaicans to carefully review the party's vision to see how it connects with their daily lives.
We want you to look at our next chapter and we want you to read it, go through it and find what's in it. Choose what works for you, what you find that's important for you, and you will find every reason to choose the Jamaica Labour Party.
The JLP says the manifesto is not just a campaign promise, but a roadmap to growth, stability, and an opportunity for all. Akeem Oret, CVM News.
In the meantime, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Jamaica Labour Party's newly released manifesto contains key provisions for senior citizens. He notes that among the proposals is a plan to improve access to health insurance for persons 60 years and older.
In this manifesto, we care about our golden ages. We
And we'll have more on that clip later. But the People's National Party PNP has trimmed down its policy blueprint, unveiling a manifesto light dubbed the People's Guide. The document, a mix of old and new proposals, was presented today as the opposition tries to distill its message ahead of the next round of national debates. Raymond Morrison picks up that story.
The heart of Manchester turned into a tide of orange Sunday evening. In the crowd, horn-blowing, beaming supporters. On stage, a fiery Dr. Dayton Campbell reacting to the first national debate, which was staged on Saturday. According to the General Secretary, public sentiment suggests the PNP came out victorious, but the Jamaica Labour Party is also claiming victory.
When we listen to the analysts on TV, them say PNP win. When we listen to the analysts on CVM, them say PNP win. When we go over social media, PNP win. The only place Labour right win over nationwide, and Labour right one power win.
In the meantime, Dr. Campbell says he's predicting a sweeping victory for the PNP in the parishes of Manchester and St. Elizabeth.
I hear the outgoing Prime Minister saying that there are no safe seats. And I want to tell him from down in Manchester tonight, Mr. Prime Minister, keep your eyes from Manchester and St. Elizabeth. 8 out of 8, we are going to sweep the parishes of Manchester and St. Elizabeth.
On the matter of transportation, opposition spokesman on transport Michael Phillips is insisting a review of the Road Traffic Act is needed.
We're going to have that conversation within the PNP government. What we do with the people and with all them tickets and who losing them license for some things that is trivial and unjust.
Amoy Howard reporting for CVM News.
And the story we promised you earlier, because that's the PNP rally in Manchester. But, well, we have the PNP's trimmed down policy blueprint unveiling their manifesto light that's dubbed the People's Guide. It's a document that combines a mix of old and new proposals. And it was presented today as the opposition tries to distill its message ahead of the next round of national debates. Here now is Raymond Morrison.
In the heat of election season, the People's National Party PNP is putting its policies in plain sight. On Monday, the opposition unveiled what it's calling a manifesto light, a condensed version of its 70-page blueprint, mixed with new proposals and repackaged under the title, The People's Guide.
We recognize that a manifesto which is over 50 pages long is not accessible to all Jamaicans. Not everybody wants to read such a long document. Not everybody wants to scour it to see how it impacts them. We also had some ideas which we chose not to announce in the manifesto itself 2 weeks ago, but we wanted to announce closer to the election date for various reasons.
The move, aimed at making the party's promises more digestible, comes as the campaign trail intensifies and the debate season heats up. Julian Robinson, opposition spokesman on finance, who will take the stage in the second national debate on the economy Tuesday night, used the unveiling to highlight the PNP's record on growth.
When we inherited the economy in 2012 under the leadership of the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller as Prime Minister and Dr. Peter Phillips as Minister of Finance, we had to undertake significant work, heavy lifting to re-establish Jamaica's credibility with our international partners. What did we do? We enhanced and strengthened the fiscal rules, and we legislated, and I want to emphasize this, we legislated the debt to GDP projection so that we could get to 60% by 2028.
And in the meantime, Damien Crawford, still fired up from Saturday night's social issues debate, took aim at the government's handling of tax reliefs and teacher salaries.
What we have indicated with our proposals up to last night and today is our commitment not to increasing taxes, but indeed to relief taxes. And it is more equitable, as that has been the central context of the People's National Party's proposals for the very longest time. As is indicated by our calculations, a teacher, for example, would only benefit from the Jamaica Labour Party's proposal to $80,000, while a person earning to the tune of $28 million, like the Prime Minister, will benefit $2.6 million. Therefore, this reduction from 25 to 15% would once again be disproportionately beneficial to persons like the Prime Minister as versus in comparison to persons like teachers.
With the People's Guide now out, the PNP is hoping the simplified approach will connect with voters. Attention now shifts to Tuesday night's economy debate, where the party will look to defend its record and sell its vision